What can they do? What should they do?
Well, I've been an addiction psychologist. I've treated crystal meth and heroin addiction for over 25 years before I got into understanding this new generation of addiction. And I often say that I find this more challenging to treat than heroin addiction simply for the reason that it's so much more ubiquitous and socially accepted and harder to live without. So that's why what I recommend to most parents is this is a classic example of an ounce of prevention and a pound of cure. Delay, delay, delay as much as you can your children accessing these really powerful, harmful devices. Um, Sergey Brin, Larry Page, Jeff Bezos, all the tech titans were Montessori students who didn't have a device until they were 15 or 16. So we don't have to drink the Kool-Aid as parents and allow our kids to get these habit-forming and harmful devices while their brains are not ready to drive this powerful car. And if people have crossed the line, there are treatment centers and there are therapists who understand this issue, but it's a hard issue to treat. And a lot of our people that we treat have other issues that are now going on. But when I hear of a kid living in a tent, homeless, a son shooting their father, a 12-year-old committing suicide, and 5 years ago, we had people questioning whether this was even an addiction. This is a real thing, and this is hurting so many kids. So as much as you can, as Dr. Phil said, countervailing activities are a big part of the fight against this. Keep your kids engaged in sports and music and other kinds of activities that can potentially insulate them. Where I talk about a psychological immune system, build up their psychological immune system so they're less vulnerable to the toxic messaging.
And Doctor, one of the things we know about teenagers is that this is the time that they start seeking independence and standing on their own and not being controlled by adults. And you and I've talked about it's a good message to educate them and say, you want to be independent and make your own decisions and stand on your own. Let me give you a little insight here. You're being manipulated. So if you think you're exercising your independence by doing this, using these phones and doing it in the way you're doing it, you're not. You're just playing right into their hands. And sometimes if we can educate them to that, they might rebel against that.
I love that. That's the most effective strategy that I've used
Yeah.
with some of my clients is to show them exactly how they're being manipulated, get them angry about that, and that's when they push back and try to take ownership of their life back.
And it's what I always say about addiction. You don't do it once, you don't do it twice, you don't do it for 3 months, you do it until.
Mhm.
You just keep putting that
Right.
information
Yeah.
out there and putting it out
And I do
there.
it every day. Every day I tell her that what she sees online is not real. The things that she's engaging in is misinformation. And then I tell her, that the talking, being real with people, that is real. This is a real human conversation. What she's doing online, scrolling, talking to 50 different strangers that she doesn't know, isn't a real connection and isn't real. It's just danger.
And we're saying what to add to that narrative is, by the way, you've been set up. It's like
Mhm.
they put a worm in your brain, and I want to tell you that this was all by design. You're being played. And if you can get her to understand that, she might say, well, my God, I've been manipulated here. I've been played. And you do it until. You don't do it once, twice, 3 times, you do it until. And look, I don't have all the answers to this modern day infestation. Nobody does. But we have to start somewhere. And today, I hope we've defined the seriousness of this problem. And we have seen just how fast things can go so bad, even with good people. Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.